If you are trying to figure out what platform to use for your pre-sale, keep watching. I'm Ashley, the owner of Shep Publishing, and we help authors get from the page to the people with efficient and effective marketing strategies. Now, one of my favorite strategies is pre-sales. I've done them for each of my book launches, and I also support authors in doing theirs. But maybe you're someone who's not quite sure which platform you should choose or where to get started. So, today I'm going to talk about a few of the most popular platforms and some of the pros and cons of each. Now, the first one that a lot of authors tend to use is Amazon KDP. It's very widely known, and it's a platform that many self-published and traditionally published authors tend to put their books on. There's some pros and cons with that, of doing it that way. Then you also have your website, and so that's an option that I have done with my own books, and that's one that I'm generally going to lean more towards and recommend. However, I'll still talk about the benefits of each of these. And then the next one is Kickstarter, and that's a very popular platform as well. Now, so you are maybe thinking about Amazon because it's a option where hundreds of millions of folks are buying things from the platform on a daily basis, and it's honestly the world's largest bookstore at this point. Now, when you think about that, you have to kind of keep in mind that if you're publishing directly through Amazon, then you are not going to have the option at the time of this recording to pre-sell your physical book unless you do a couple extra steps. Typically, people will do their pre-sale on the ebook version on Amazon because that's the only option that they provide if you're using Amazon KDP. There are other options to be able to create a pre-sale for a physical book, and that might be through Ingram Spark or through a different site that Amazon provides as well. That's a little bit more complex. Now, for Amazon, some of the pros is that they will automatically deliver your ebook, which is beneficial because people can get it right away once the pre-sale time is over. And there's already traffic that's going to Amazon. So there's already people who are already on the platform on a daily basis looking for books, and you can use those keywords and categories to help your book stand out. Additionally, you will get that little badge that says verified purchasers if those people leave a review. Now, of course, there's some pros and cons to that, but in my eyes, any review is a good review, or any review is better than no review. So with that, just something to keep in mind. If you're using the option to upload your book through Ingram Spark to then have it distribute to Amazon, then you can also do the pre-sale feature that way. So something to keep in mind with that is that sometimes those delivery times are a little bit longer for the physical copy of the book, and it can kind of create a little bit of a lag for you if you don't time it right. Now, some of the drawbacks from using Amazon is, once again, you're not directly able to put in your paperback or your hardcover as a pre-order option directly on the platform. You'd have to go through Ingram Spark or another third-party Amazon option. And your entire book must be fully completed in order for you to upload it. So it's not something where you would be able to, at least at the time of this recording, that you would be able to make changes. It would have to be completely done and ready to go before uploading it for the ebook format. As well, you have a certain timeline that you're able to make those last minute changes. And so there's a time where it gets cut off where you're not able to upload additional changes after that. As well, it's easy to make mistakes on the platform on Amazon if you're not familiar with it, if you're not exactly sure. And support, though it's helpful, it's not always readily available when you might need it if you're working late at night or something like that. Now, the next platform I'm going to talk about is hosting on your website. So having your pre-sale on your website is a great option because of a few reasons, and so I'll talk about some of the pros. Now, with this is a little bit more of a sophisticated method. It's something where you are able to do additional things that you are not actually able to do on Amazon, and the first example of that is being able to include additional items with your book. And so what I mean by that is doing book bundles. And if you're not familiar with that concept or that process, then you can check out my video on book bundles, and I'll add the little thing here for you to take a look at that. But it's something where if you wanted to add a matching journal or you wanted to add a bookmark or a pen, you're able to add some book swag with it. You can't do that when you are selling through Amazon KDP. As well, you can add different tiers. So maybe you want to provide just the book for your pre-sale as opposed to providing the book and a book bundle. This is something that I did with my books, and most recently my Daniel Fast Meals cookbook. I was able to give the book in the different formats as well as having the book bundle option. Another benefit of doing it from your website is that you can still actually purchase your books from Amazon KDP and then sell them on your website. Now, what I mean by that is Amazon has added an option for a scheduled release. And what that means is that you are able to schedule out when your book is going to be available to other people. And then people will be able to purchase it then, but you can actually purchase it ahead of time. So that means that you're able to get your author copies, you can bundle them up for your pre-orders, and you can sign them, you can autograph them, because over on Amazon KDP, if someone orders the version that's actually from Ingram Spark through Amazon KDP, they're not going to have an autographed copy. So some things to keep in mind. If you are doing a offset print order, selling it through your website often is the only option. Or you can do it on the last option that I'm going to share. And that's great if you have different formats of the book that might be hardcover, if you're a children's book author, or spiral, such as what I did for my cookbook. As well, you are able to collect customer data. And I don't mean in like a creepy way, but in terms of being able to continue to sell and market to your customers down the line. Amazon KDP is notorious for not sharing customer data with its clients and with its authors in terms of being able to continue to market to them. So if you are going that route of directly doing it through Amazon KDP, you want to make sure you're including different items to be able to catch that customer data throughout your book. And so it might be a QR code to a lead magnet. It might be inviting them to come visit your site to get something free, or a training or something of that sort. So on your website, you, of course, are going to collect the customer's email, so that way you can send them their email confirmation, you can follow up with them, you can deliver any freebies, things of that sort. So you have a more direct route to be able to communicate with your customers. Now, one way that selling your book directly on your website for pre-sales and continuous sales is a benefit is that you also, one additional way is that you can also make money before your book is completed. And I say this with caution because you want to make sure that your book is done to a certain point so that you're able to actually produce the book at the date that you have the pre-sale cutoff. So for example, understanding book marketing and understanding book publishing, you want to make sure that you have a grasp or have support with a coach like myself to be able to know when is a good time to start your pre-sale, when should you cut your pre-sale off, and when is my book actually going to be finished so that I can give it to people. And this is a plus because you can actually make money before your book is done. And that means even if one person buys your book, you still can use that towards your publishing costs, your marketing costs, or any other costs that you have that are associated with just living on this earth as a human. Now, the cons of this is that it does take a little bit more work on the front end. However, through the power of automation and technology, you're able to set things up and then watch them kind of do their thing. You are going to be responsible for shipping the books yourself unless you work with a drop shipping company, and that is somebody or a company where you're sending your books to and then they are handling the shipping for you. In this case, however, that would come as a cost at a fee. And then you aren't going to get that Amazon ranking in terms of getting credit for books that are bought on your site. However, those people can still leave a review for you on Amazon. It won't say a verified review. However, they are still able to leave a review. And then lastly, it may take longer to set up than an Amazon KDP or the next option that I'm going to share with you. And so it's something where there are pros and cons to each. However, depending upon what your goals are, then you'll be able to make that decision. All right, so the last platform I'm going to talk about is Kickstarter. And this is one that lots of authors and other people who are creating products use to be able to get funding for their projects ahead of time. Now, some of the pros of Kickstarter is that it's an option of where you can add additional things with your book. You can do book bundles like we've talked about before. Then, of course, you can also do those tiered options. You can provide just the book or the book in the bundle or the book, the bundle, and experience, something like that. You can do those autograph copies because you would have to ship those books out yourself instead of having someone else ship them for you unless you're paying for drop shipping. And then you do have the opportunity to collect customer data, which is helpful for ongoing marketing. Another benefit of Kickstarter is that it already has traffic coming to it. There are already people coming to the platform that understand that you don't have the product finished yet. They get that it's in process and they understand and they're comfortable with giving you money ahead of time. It's not a new concept to them. And people are used to the ideas of pre-sales. Now, some of the cons of Kickstarter is that you are responsible for shipping the book yourself, as mentioned. and it doesn't increase your Amazon sales ranking, just like the website option. And people can actually take back their pledges. So they're called pledges on your Kickstarter. And so people can renege, take back your pledge, which means that they said, oh, I'm going to donate this amount, but actually I've changed my mind. Now, of course, if you're selling on your website, people can always ask for a refund. So same kind of concept there. But another con is that the platform Kickstarter takes an additional 5% of your sales. And so that's in addition to whatever your payment processor is taking. So if you think about it, for example, Stripe is connected to it. Stripe is about 3%. And so that's almost 10% of your sales that are being taken before you even get that income. If you sell on your website, of course, you're still going to have to pay a payment processor, and you might still have to pay for hosting depending upon what platform you use. Also for Kickstarter, it is a little bit more complicated to determine those shipping costs and calculations, and so you want to be careful with that so you don't end up in the hole. And one of the biggest cons, in my opinion, of Kickstarter is that you are not going to get your pledges unless you've met your goal. So let's say that your goal was $5,000 for your book. If you don't meet that mark, then you don't get any of your money. For me, that's a deal breaker. It's something where if there's only $3,000 worth of people and they've decided they want to support you, but you don't meet that mark, then that's really a turnoff because you can still sell books to those folks and you can still have a successful book launch with less than that full amount. So for that reason, that's why I don't choose to use Kickstarter as a platform. However, it does work for lots of authors. And then lastly, your Kickstarter has to be approved. So it has to be approved as something that they can use on the platform. So in this video, I've talked about the pros, the cons, and everything in between of different options to host your pre-sale. If you are someone who needs to kind of discuss this further, or if you're looking for support in your pre-sale, then we do offer done-for-you pre-sale services as well as pre-sale coaching and courses. So you can check those options out in the link in this description. Thanks so much for watching.